What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about horror performances that should have been Oscar nominated. Now, in recent years, the Academy Awards have embraced the horror genre just a little bit more, which I love to see. Unfortunately, these performances that I am going to point out to you were snubbed. And I am going to start off with one of my favorite films of all time. It is Jaws. Now, Jaws actually did receive numerous Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. It won 3 technical awards. Unfortunately, it just did not win Best Picture. But I also believe that an acting performance should have been acknowledged with at least a nomination, and that is for Robert Shaw, who plays Quint in Jaws. All 3 of the lead male performances I absolutely love in Jaws. However, with Robert Shaw, there is one shining moment where he just really eclipses the other 2 performances, and that is when he is giving his huge monologue when they are on the boat in the 3rd act of the film, when he's talking about his experience on the USS Indianapolis. That monologue is so bone-chilling. I've seen it so many times, and every single time I watch it, I get kind of a different feeling. It's always the sense of dread, but there's always multiple layers that I'm feeling as he is delivering that monologue. He's absolutely brilliant. There's other great moments in the film, but usually there's one moment that people call the Oscar moment when people are nominated for their films. And to me, that moment, that monologue that Quint delivers, or I should say that Robert Shaw delivers, is so absolutely incredible. So it is a shame that there was not an acting performance also acknowledged during this award season when Jaws was nominated. Robert Shaw absolutely should have gotten a nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Now, another film that was acknowledged at the Academy Awards, I'm talking about Psycho, but there's one performance that unfortunately was ignored. Now, Psycho, I believe it was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Hitchcock was nominated for Best Director, and Janet Leigh was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. But the one big performance that they just ignored, Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates, did not receive a nomination. It's unbelievable to me because pretty much he is the focus of the film. Obviously, we focus in on Janet Leigh for about the first, I would say, 30 minutes of the movie, but then it shifts over to Anthony Perkins. And his Oscar moment in the film, to me anyway, is when he is sitting down with Janet Leigh's character and he just made her a sandwich and they're in the back parlor of the motel and they're having this little bit of conversation. And as Anthony Perkins is delivering his monologue, because he also has a major monologue in the movie as well. So as he's delivering his huge monologue, you are seeing multiple layers. Again, I know I use that kind of like analogy with Robert Shaw for when I'm watching his monologue, but as you're watching Anthony Perkins' monologue, you are seeing the multiple layers of this character of Norman Bates, because from the outside, he looks like this great guy. He's friendly. He's kind of overly nice, but you're just accepting it. But what he's actually saying is extremely disturbing. And so you're just seeing all these different facets to the character, and he delivers that monologue in such a fantastic way. So I just cannot even believe that the Academy ignored that performance completely. It just seems like a major misstep on their part. So Anthony Perkins for Psycho absolutely should have been acknowledged as well. This next film is a recent brand new release. I believe last year it was nominated. It is Nosferatu. Nosferatu did receive technical award nominations, 4 if I'm remembering correctly, but I do believe there is one acting performance in the film that should have been acknowledged, and I'm sure the majority of you are thinking that I'm going to say Lily Rose Depp, and you would be incorrect with that guess. I truly do believe that Bill Skarsgård should have been acknowledged in Best Supporting Actor for Nosferatu, because not only was it a complete transformative performance as far as what he looked like with all of that makeup, the body makeup, everything that they did to completely transform his look, but also his voice. Bill Skarsgård worked on lowering his voice a complete octave to play the role of Count Orlok. And that was absolutely amazing to me. So I really do think that Bill Skarsgård should have received a nomination because there was room in the category. Obviously, he would have landed in Best Supporting Actor. And the one nominee that year that could have, put off to the side and Bill Skarsgård could have gotten in and replaced him, Edward Norton in A Complete Unknown. I feel like with A Complete Unknown, that movie overperformed at the Academy Awards. It just seemed like every single possible nomination that movie could have received, it did. And I don't think it won anything. It went home empty-handed, but it had a ton of nominations. As far as Edward Norton's performance, there wasn't anything that he did that was super outstanding to me. And this is my opinion. You can disagree. That is perfectly fine and okay. So I believe that Edward Norton could have been put off to the side, and then Bill Skarsgård could have taken that spot for Best Supporting Actor. Okay, here we go. This is literally the movie that inspires videos like this. It's Toni Collette in Hereditary. How she did not receive any kind of accolade for this film. I believe she won little critics awards and things like that, but when it came to the major awards during award season, she was not acknowledged. Wait, she might have received a Critics' Choice nomination, but as far as the Oscars, she was completely snubbed. And I truly do believe the reason why is because if you've seen Hereditary, you know how crazy and weird this movie gets by the end of the film. And I really do think that because it gets so weird and so wacky by the end of it, maybe that is what turned off Academy voters. I feel like if the film just maintained what the first half of the movie was doing, because it was pretty much a straight up family drama. There's a lot of deaths that are happening with this family. It's kind of like they're cursed just a little bit. And I feel like if the movie maintained that entire theme all the way through, there would have been possibility for Toni Collette to receive a Best Actress nomination. But I think because the way the film plays out, the Academy just was like, well, that's way too wacky and weird. We can't go for that. And so they just looked her over completely. What is Toni Collette's Oscar moment in Hereditary? I think we can all agree it's the moment at the dinner table where she says, "I am your mother," and she delivers a piece of dialogue that is just so fantastic, so amazing. She has other great moments as well, because I just rewatched this movie a couple of nights ago to refresh my brain for this video. because I haven't seen this movie in a while, probably at least 2 years. So it was so wonderful to circle back around to Hereditary and mainly focus in on Toni Collette's performance. She also has other great moments where, she's trying to talk to the spirit of her daughter and she's becoming so obsessive. Like, the emotional range that she has in this film is fantastic. And also right in the beginning of the movie, when she's going to like a support group and she's talking about past history of her mother and her family. So many great moments, but her Oscar moment absolutely would have been at the dinner table, the "I am your mother" speech. So Toni Collette, she will always be mentioned for this film in any video like this that is put out, because it's so devastating that she was not acknowledged for Hereditary. Now, the next performance that I am going to talk about, this man almost made it to the Academy Awards. I'm talking about Hugh Grant in Heretic. I recently rewatched this film as well. Pretty much this entire movie is a Hugh Grant monologue. It is absolutely insane how many words that Hugh Grant had to memorize to perform his role in this film. It's absolutely astounding. And as far as the Academy Awards, he was almost there for a Best Actor nomination. He probably was 6th or 7th in line, because he was receiving nominations all last award season. He was nominated for the Golden Globe, Critics' Choice. He missed at SAG, but he was nominated again at BAFTA. And after he received the BAFTA nomination, I said to myself, Hugh Grant is going to get nominated for Heretic. This is absolutely insane. And last year, the Academy was really embracing the horror genre. They obviously went with The Substance and Nosferatu. And so I had high hopes that Hugh Grant was going to receive a nomination for Heretic. Unfortunately, that did not happen, but he was extremely close. So Hugh Grant, Best Actor, unfortunately missed out on that for Heretic. This is another obvious choice. Mia Goth for Pearl. Now, she is absolutely outstanding and fantastic in all 3 of these movies, this entire X trilogy. But it is the film Pearl where she is just so absolutely incredible, phenomenal. She really shows how amazing of an actress she really is. The fact that she was not acknowledged for Best Actress at the Academy Awards is such a crime. What is her Oscar moment? I think we all know what it is. The 7-minute monologue that she delivers towards the end of the film is mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. She is incredible. As far as an actress in this movie, she shows such an amazing range. She rides that line of I'm normal, but inside of me and underneath, I know I'm crazy, and she's trying to hide it. She's trying to act like everything is okay when she's talking to the projectionist, and she's portraying herself as, I'm just this normal girl and I want to get out of here. But she is trying to suffocate and stuff down the psycho, crazy part of her. And then she just explodes. She just absolutely explodes. Her performance is brilliant, absolutely brilliant in this film. She is just so good. And after I watched Pearl for the first time, I already knew that I enjoyed her as an actress because of X. Because before that, Mia Goth was never really on my radar. But after I saw her performance in Pearl, she hooked me in as far as her talent. And so ever since I watched this movie, anytime there's a brand new film with Mia Goth, I'm interested and I want to see it. That's how powerful her performance is in this film. I'm obviously looking forward to Frankenstein. I cannot wait to see that. So her performance in Pearl was criminally overlooked, unfortunately. She should have received some kind of acknowledgement during award season. Maybe not the Academy Awards, but sometime during award season, she should have been acknowledged for a Best Actress nomination. This next performance, this guy is so overly talented, it's absolutely insane. James McAvoy in Split. I showed Split because obviously he's in two other, or he was in another movie I could have chosen, but I'm going with Split because James McAvoy is so brilliant at playing crazy and psychotic. He showed it yet again in Speak No Evil. He is so absolutely wonderful in this film. He is bouncing back and forth between so many different personalities. He's jumping around, and the way he executes that is just so astounding because you never know what personality is going to pop up next. And the way it's just seamless. It's absolutely seamless. This is something I've talked about before where you're just mind boggled as you're watching him on screen because there's never any hesitation. He never has to think about it. He's just bouncing around from all these different personalities to the next. And there's no pause. There's no thinking about it. Everything is just so natural with a great flow. It's unbelievable. And something like this, a performance like this, excuse me, not to be acknowledged somehow, some way, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the Academy's thinking. I don't know. I mean, granted, this is not usually the type of film that the Academy does acknowledge, but what an inspired nomination this would have been because he absolutely deserves some kind of accolade for Split. He was phenomenal. So, Best Actor nomination absolutely should have happened for James McAvoy. Now, this next actor has received numerous Academy Award nominations. He actually has an Academy Award, but Christian Bale should have received something for American Psycho. He is absolutely brilliant in this film. I know I'm kind of like overusing brilliant, but honestly, he is so good in this movie. From the outside, he looks like a charming, handsome, rich, type A personality, yes, but he looks like he's normal, but on the inside, he is so freaking crazy and out there. And everything that he does in this film is done in such a way. Everything is meticulous. I feel like Christian Bale really sat down with the script for American Psycho and just really, really concentrated on these individual moments that he had a feeling were just going to shine in the film. And the one like Oscar moment, as I'm saying, the Oscar moment for me in American Psycho is when he puts on Huey Lewis in the News and he's about ready to chop up, I believe it was Jared Leto's character. And he's just, going around and like bopping his head like this. To go from a dramatic role, serious role, to that little bit of comedy, because I laugh during that scene all the time because it's so ridiculous. To kind of, just to, again, like natural flow in between drama, very serious, psycho killer, to a comedic moment, to do that so well should be acknowledged, absolutely. So Christian Bale, American Psycho, should have received something. Best Actor, should have received a nomination. This next film is one of my favorite like creature feature horror films, and I'm talking about Emily Blunt in A Quiet Place. Emily Blunt should have received some kind of Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. I probably would have put her in Best Actress because she is throughout the entire film. But I'm going to say Best Supporting Actress because she was acknowledged during the SAG Awards that year. She was nominated at the SAG Awards in Best Supporting Actress, and she won. She won the award. And so when she won for SAG, the door to the Oscars kind of kicked open just a little bit. But I think because obviously this is a creature feature movie and, you know, the Oscars don't tend to go for that kind of film, unfortunately, she did receive a snub. And I love the Quiet Place movies, but the first film really is where she shines the most, in my opinion. She's just so good in this movie. This film and also Devil Wears Prada, obviously, are my two favorite Emily Blunt performances. She's just so incredible. And because without speaking, you cannot speak in this movie, obviously. And without speaking, she's just able to communicate so much on screen. She's absolutely incredible. So Emily Blunt, this was a crime that she was not acknowledged for something, for, you know, any other kind of award. I'm so happy that she did win for SAG, but it would have been nice if she would have received an Academy Award nomination as well. Now, this film, actually, the last two movies I'm going to show were nominated during the Academy Awards, but for some reason, these performances were left off of the nomination list. And the first film is The Substance. Now, The Substance clearly received so many nominations. Best Picture, Demi Moore. Yes, I'm still bitter about Demi Moore not winning. I can't get over it. It did win for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. So at least it is an Academy Award winning film. But the one performance that was not nominated, was left off the list, was Margaret Qualley, the other half of Demi Moore in this movie. And I really do think she should have been acknowledged, because if you're acknowledging Demi Moore in Best Actress, to me, it just made sense to acknowledge the other half of the film in Best Supporting Actress, and that was Margaret Qualley. I've seen her in little bit roles here and there. I don't have like a full-on extensive knowledge of her filmography, but from what I saw in this film, Margaret Qualley was so amazing, because she really is the villain of this movie. She is the other half of Demi Moore, and she's just not abiding by the rules. She is selfish. She wants to do everything for herself, and she does not care. And I really enjoy characters like that, you know, playing the little bit of the villain. And it would have been nice to award her with a nomination. And I do think that there was room here, because much like with Edward Norton and Bill Skarsgård with Nosferatu, I really do think Monica Barbaro, who was nominated for A Complete Unknown, I personally, you may disagree, and that is fine, I don't really think she should have deserved a nomination. I really do think Margaret Qualley should have secured that spot for Best Supporting Actress. There was really nothing about Monica Barbaro's performance that was super outstanding. I felt like she kind of rode on the coattails of Timothée Chalamet and the film itself to receive that nomination. And I feel the same way about Edward Norton. Both of them just rode that train with A Complete Unknown to receive those nominations. So I think Monica Barbaro could have been left out, and Margaret Qualley should have been nominated instead. The final film and performance I am going to talk about is The Sixth Sense. Now, The Sixth Sense, again, much like The Substance and Jaws and Nosferatu, did receive nominations, including Best Picture. Also, Toni Collette and also Haley Joel Osment, for their acting performances, they both received Academy Award nominations. But for some reason, when it came to Bruce Willis, his name was left off the list. And that is extremely unfortunate because I recently rewatched The Sixth Sense as well, not too long ago. And his performance in the film, obviously, it is very quiet. It is very subtle. It is not a showy, flashy performance. It's not overly dramatic where we're crying and wailing, and it's not like that. It is very calm. And I feel like if there was any point in time for Bruce Willis to receive an Academy Award nomination, it should have been for The Sixth Sense. Because let's be honest, Bruce Willis in his, in his history of his filmography, he does not gravitate towards the Academy Awards with those movies. He's mainly known for action films, obviously Die Hard and, every other great movie that he's been in. They've been more popcorn movies and not necessarily prestigious Academy Award nominated films. And so this was just very unfortunate. This was a misstep by the Academy, in my opinion, because I do believe Bruce Willis should have at least received a nomination. I don't think he should have won, but I do believe he should have been acknowledged because that movie, again, two supporting performances get nominations. Best Picture nomination. I believe M. Night Shyamalan was nominated for Best Director and a screenplay nomination. It's like every single major nomination except for Bruce Willis. So I'm not really sure why the Academy just went that way and decided to do that. But I do think Bruce should have been acknowledged. Those are my choices for the biggest horror Oscar snubs. Comment down below and let me know if you agree with any of these choices or if you would have picked a couple of different ones. Please comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.